2003 BMW 3 Series convertible. This is a factory M Sport. It's a later car, so it's facelift, so it's got the slightly different lights on the front where they go up instead of down in the corners. Different rear lights, a couple of interior tweaks. It is in a lovely gloss black with black interior, black hood. They did two blacks on these. They did this standard gloss black, which I forget the name, or they did something called Carbon Schwartz, which is the one that looks sort of blue in the light and is an absolute nightmare to keep clean. This is the true gloss black car. Like I say, M Sport, so we've got the M Sport wheels on it, those MV wheels. But we'll have a good look at the bodywork. We'll have a look at the roof, get it started up, all that sort of stuff. If we look down this side of the car, you'll see it is nice and straight. Nice and clean on this front bumper. Front arch itself is all good. Wheel is lovely and clean. There's no curb marks or anything like that on it. And there's a good tyre on there. Down this front wing is all good. That sill is obviously a plastic cover, but it is all nice and clean. It's not been rammed up any curbs or anything like that. A few marks on the wing mirror, just from the usual stone chips and things like that. And the milkiness on the black trim. So on the non-N Sports, you had silver trim here, which went milky. The black trim did exactly the same thing. But there is a restoration kit you can get, which brings that back. That one's done. This stuff's just polished from the windows, so ignore that. I've not done a very good job of wiping it off, as you can see. Little spot of failure on the mirror. Common thing on these are auto dimmer mirrors, they quite regularly fail. Door itself is all nice and clean. Going on to this rear quarter again, that's all nice and tidy. We've got a little mark just here. The arch itself is good, it's nice and solid. Another good wheel and tyre. Round onto this rear quarter. Just worth pointing out, there's a couple of flakes on what is the back of the deck lid. So there's a little flake there, and then a couple more just on this leading edge. On the bit that lifts up to allow the roof to fold down. Don't know if it's maybe caught on something or what. On the rear, so like I say, the LCI or the facelift's got these sort of crystal LED type rear lights, which are much better looking. A slightly different boot lid handle. This one has the little M Sport boot lip, but the bumper corners are all nice and clean on both sides. Parking sensors on the rear on this one, all nice and tidy. The top of the boot lid itself, there's no real marks or anything in it. We've given it a quick clean, but a good polish would make a massive difference on this. It's a black car that's 19 years old now, so they can always do with a polish. Random bit of miscellaneous plastic on the floor there, ignore that. So rear bumper again meets nice and straight here. Arch itself's nice and solid. You've got a tiny little mark in the paint just there where the plastic bumper meets the arch. Another good wheel and tyre. Again, looking down this side, nice and straight. There's no real marks or anything to point out on this side. We've got two little dings, parking dings just here and here on the door. And again, the wing mirror has some marks on it, the same as the other side. And this black trim does want a good polish up with that restoration kit thing I mentioned. Front wing on this side, nice and tidy. You've got a couple of little blebs in the paint just there, which is pretty common on an E46. Another good wheel and tyre. Round onto the front, so it's got Xeon headlights on the front as well. You've got the odd stone chip, which is to be expected, but not a major amount. Bonnet itself's all nice and straight. No ripples or dents or anything in it. Look at the hood. So the hood is particularly clean on this car. I would say it's not been getting put down wet or left under a tree or anything like that. It's really clean. Glass heated rear screen in these. Obviously electric roof as well, which we'll show you in a second. There's no real sign of any wear at all. Quite often they have a couple of little pinch points where they tend to get holes and things, but they're all good. Have a look on the inside. So like I say, M Sport trim, so black leather trim, but you've got the sports seats, so they've got bigger bolsters, extra adjustment. This base piece comes in and out. And then obviously they get things like the electric adjustment. So if you tilt the seat forward, you can hit that button to move it forward and back to allow the rear passenger in. But driver's seat overall really good. We've got a little bit of wear on this corner here. But other than that, all nice and tidy. Steering wheel. Again, you get the M Sport steering wheel, so it's the same wheel as in the M3s and things like that. So you've got the BMW M colours stitching and that sort of stuff. A little bit of wear on the on the right hand side here, but other than that, all good. Manual car, obviously electric windows, aircon. It's got the biggest stereo with a nav and everything in it, and an armrest, which amazingly was a optional extra. Harman Kardon sound upgrade. Into the back, it's all nice and tidy. They don't get a lot of use on the cabs and the coupes, so the condition should be pretty good as you'd expect. But yeah, that's really, really nice. There's no sort of rips or tears. There's no sign of any sort of cigarette smoke or dogs or anything like that. Underside of the hood is all good. We'll pop the boot and bonnet out while we're there. Into the boot. There is a number plate sort of surround there if you want it. And obviously you've got this locker for the hood, which folds away and gives you a bigger storage space, and it has the optional ski hatch at the back there should you want it. Do have a 6-disc CD changer in there as well, and here's all nice and tidy. Spare wheel was an optional extra on these. You could have those, or you could have the tyre saving kit. And then we've got toolkit here, which to me I always check on a BMW because I'm sad. We're missing pliers, and that's about it, to be fair. All nice and complete other than that. So missing one piece, we can live with that. Underside of the boot lid and everything's all nice and tidy. Windows all drop as they should when you open the doors and things as well. All nice and clean here. Door checks on both sides are good. Passenger seat nice and tidy. Tiny little bit of wear on the bolster again. Other than that, it's all good. Dark carpet set, which is nice and clean. Obviously the grey interior cars, which I think have aged quite badly, also had grey carpets, and they stain so quickly. So the black carpet set's much better. So under here you've got your engine, obviously, stating the obvious, but it is it's the 2.2, so it's the 320, but it's the 6-cylinder car, not what is basically the 1.8 4-cylinder car. For me, if you're going to buy a BMW, it needs to be a 6-cylinder. All nice and clean in here. Strut tops and everything are good. Inner wings all nice and clean. No sign of any sort of oils or fluids or anything. And same underneath, there's nothing sort of dribbling down there. All nice and tidy. Has had an aftermarket M colour grille fitted, but it's a very easy job to switch that back if you want rid of it. Start it up. As you can hear, nice and smooth, nice and quiet. Was driven to us. No sign of any steam or smoke or anything coming out there. Well, we'll hit the button and drop the roof. So it's electric roof, just hit the button, you don't need to unlock any clasps or anything like that. And away it goes. So it lifts the deck lid. And then away the roof goes. Nice and slick. And then you've got this button to drop all the windows in one go, which is a nice touch, I think. So there you have it. 2003 6-cylinder 320 BMW convertible. Any questions, please get in touch.